You create mankind, giving them everything they need to thrive. In the end, you take it all away. Simmiland, developed by Sock Pop Collective, is a god game where the player plays cards to help the burgeoning human civilization to thrive. It is an unrealized hybrid of a card game and a god game. While it is amusing for a couple of hours, the game lacks the content to be compelling in the long run. The gameplay consists of the player drawing a hand of cards that allows them to alter the environment around the humans. These range from creating plants to dropping meteors. One of the cards allows the humans to investigate items, which allows them to progress technologically. Initially, the player has a limited deck of cards, thereby limiting their human development. As one progresses through the game, they can buy more cards, and thereby develop the humans further. While there is some strategic layer to playing and saving cards for the right time, it seems that the card game portion of Simmiland exists mostly to pad out gameplay time. You only gain currency to buy new cards after finishing a game, so to pad out a deck to the point that one can significantly develop the humans, you have to play multiple games. To an extent, this could be seen as easing the player into the game. Personally, I was not annoyed by the system, but I would have preferred to have the gameplay time reflect the complexity of Simmiland's strategy, rather than it being a forced repetition of actions. With that being said, it was enjoyable to watch the humans develop. You could clearly see how your choices impacted their development. It was like fostering a little anthill of humans. Giving them too much stunted their growth, while too little caused them to overuse resources they had. It was unfortunate, especially given that you have to play multiple iterations of the game, but the humans developed fairly linearly. There were a few dead-end paths, but the end game always looked basically the same. Branching development would have obfuscated the necessity to pad out gameplay time with purchasing cards, and would have built more strategy into the game. It would have also been good to see Simmiland play more with its morality mechanic. Depending on how nice the player is to the humans, they will become more or less moral, ranging from kind to evil. In gameplay terms, this mostly reflects how much of the in-game resources the humans will give to the player so that the player can then play more cards. One of the branching paths leads to an end state, but there are few repercussions beyond that, including an ability for the humans to infight if they're evil or do something else if they're kind, would have added more depth and made the humans feel more like autonomous units instead of just worker drones. The aesthetics of Simmiland are spot on. It has a whimsical and playful feeling that perfectly fits the exploratory nature of this game. More diversity would have been nice, as there was only ever one asset for each type of house, making villages or cities very samey. This was not the biggest problem, as even cities were quite small in the game, but it would have brought that extra level of liveliness. Outside of that, there's not much to say. The art just fits well with the feeling of the game, and its simplistic nature leaves little to critique. Overall, Simmiland was an okay game that may entertain you for an hour or two, but is too shallow to have any serious longevity. The card game aspects are really only included to pad out playtime by having the player restart and get new cards between games. Human progression is fairly linear, leading to limited replayability. There was potential for deeper mechanics and strategy, but the developers chose a more exploratory and limited design. Simmiland certainly is not a ripoff for the price. It is a decent and functional game, but I would not go out of my way to pick it up. With that, thanks for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.